We all know why we're here, so let's check it out. I do have it muted, otherwise Adam Silver will send me to prison. Let's check out the play. Coming up on the fast break, nice contest. Josh Hart gets the rebound, and I think there's a sniper in the crowd out there. If you see Drummond swipes down, if he touched anything, it was the ball, but he didn't touch anything at all. Drummond, they don't show another angle on this, but just a bad, just a bad flop by Josh Hart. Bad form. Didn't even look close. I mean, even on the regular angle, you can see that Drummond doesn't touch him at all. And if he did hit anything, which he didn't, he would have hit the ball. But I still understand this play by Josh Hart. I get why players flop. You're trying to get the advantage to win the game, of course, but it's 108 to 102. New York is down 6 points. It's 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the fourth. I mean, Josh Hart gets this rebound. He's not going to fall out of bounds. He has his balance. I mean, there's three Sixers down here. He could have kicked the ball to Jalen Brunson. They would have had numbers running back on the break, but instead he elects to go to the flop move. And again, like you see, Hart gets the rebound. He's not off balance. He's not going to fall out of bounds. So I mean, I understand if he's going to fall out of bounds and pretends he got pushed, but Drummond just he doesn't even touch the ball. We can see it's pretty clear. But if he did touch anything, it would have been the ball. So I understand why Josh Hart elected to go to the flop on this one. Let me know what y'all think if y'all thought this was a legit foul or a flop because they did give him a foul call on this, and it's honestly insane. I don't know why I think Philly still had a challenge at this point, but I would have challenged that for sure. What I don't get though is, they have numbers going back up the other way if he just passes Jalen Brunson the ball, and then also they're down six. And imagine if the refs didn't call this, or if Philly did use a challenge, it'd just be really embarrassing looking. I really don't understand why you go to a flop right there. Not even to hate on Josh Hart. I do like Josh Hart, but what was the point of that though? It wasn't even close. But yeah, we see the swipe down by Drummond, and Josh Hart does get the foul on that one. One thing that'll frustrate me, again, my stance on flopping all the time is get mad at officiating and the league more than you get mad at the players. I will hate on players that flop. It's just part of what we do as fans, but I get more frustrated with the NBA and the officials for not enforcing the flopping penalty. Because if y'all remembered, they made this rule. This is from this article is from 2024, from July, so it's almost like a year and a half ago now. But if y'all remember, they did put this rule in, and that was back in 2024. But the Board of Governors voted to permanently implement the in-game flopping penalty as part of the playing rules. The in-game flopping penalty had been adopted on a one-year trial basis for the season prior to that. I don't know if I remember this rule getting implemented. I do remember it, obviously, but I've never seen, to be honest, I can't think of one example where I've seen this actually get enforced. But basically, like on the Josh Hart play, for example, if you see a player is clearly flopping, the officials can review that play and then enforce a technical foul on that player to hopefully get flopping out of the game. That's not going to happen, but hopefully lessen the flopping and make players flop less because they'd be actively hurting their team, if this was getting enforced. But under the rule, when a game official calls a flop, which I've never seen a flop get called, to be honest, I can't think of one example, but the offending player, Josh Hart in this situation, is charged with the what? Does that even make sense? Is charged with the non-unsportsmanlike technical foul. I think it would just be an unsportsmanlike. That's like a double negative, right? Anyway, they're charged with an unsportsmanlike technical foul, and the opposing team is awarded one free throw attempt, which can be attempted by any player who is in the game when the technical foul is assessed. Just regular technical foul rules, but basically, let me know if y'all have seen this. I've never seen this rule get enforced, not one time. I don't think flopping is so much out of control in the NBA, but it can be ugly to watch plays like that, and there's a lot of flopping that goes on. Honestly, more flopping than ever. The game is still awesome to watch. I still love to watch the game, but this is one thing the league could clean up on. And again, I don't blame the players as much as I blame officiating, Adam Silver, and the NBA in general because they did implement this rule, yet they never enforced the rule, and they could They could give a player a technical foul literally every single game for flopping. I'd like to see them start doing that because the player, there's at least one egregious flop in almost every single game. Probably not every single game, but almost every single game has at least one egregious flop, like the Josh Hart one, where I can see it. And the first time I see it, like I was watching this game live, as soon as I saw that play, I said, that's a flop. We watched the replays, we watched it 10 times. Andre Drummond doesn't touch anything. And if he did, he would have touched the ball. But like we saw, he doesn't make any contact with Josh Hart at all. And Josh Hart does that crazy flop, and somehow the officials called a foul on Drummond. And then the 76ers, I don't think they've had a challenge. I was watching the game. I know they for sure didn't challenge that play. If they would have challenged it, this would have happened. If they would have challenged it, the officials would have made it a no call. They would have called, no contact, and then the Knicks would have still kept the ball because Hart had the rebound, but the foul would have been rescinded. But what wouldn't have happened is they wouldn't have replayed it and then called a technical flopping foul, a technical flop, however you say it. They wouldn't have called that technical on Josh Hart like they should, based on these rules here. So I wish the officials would start enforcing this flopping penalty more. And when players are flopping and actively hurting their teams with technical fouls right after the flop, when they're getting showed up on the big screen and getting embarrassed, I don't think they're really embarrassed. They have no shame when it comes to flopping. But if you're getting called again and again, flop after flop, and Shaquille O'Neal is making fun of you on Shaqtin' a Fool or whatever it is, then maybe the flopping would cut down, especially when you're actively hurting your team, immediately with those technical fouls right on the spot after your flops. So again, I don't think flopping is out of control. It's not ruining the game. The game is still a lot of fun to watch, and I still love to watch the game all the time. But again, this is one thing the NBA could clean up, and they could start cleaning it up today. Y'all put this rule in, and I can't think of one example where it's ever been called. So hopefully they can start calling this, and it can cut down a bit on those flops like we saw from Josh Hart. But please like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you thought about Josh Hart's flippity floppity, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.